So first, I just want to say if you're not in season two, if you're still on season one, if you haven't read it at all, or whatever the case may be, there will be a lot of spoilers. If you don't mind that, that's perfectly fine. If you want to stick around just to hear me talk, that's great. But you were warned. So, where do I start? Y'all, I am speechless. Okay, so let's just, I guess, take it from the top with season two. Um, Jake Young is definitely doing his big one. He's definitely going all out. He is not pumping the brakes with trying to get Dan back. Like, and it's so funny because it's like subconsciously he knows that he's trying to get him back. Or, I'm sorry, subconsciously he doesn't realize that he's trying to get him back. But we, the readers, see it through his actions that he's trying to get him back. And of course, he's saying, "Oh, I'm only doing this because once he's better, then he'll help me get better." Blah blah blah. But come on now. Come on now. Like, there's just no way that you would have ever gone out of your way for anybody else like this. And even though he knows that what had happened to him was a mistake with the foot spray and everything, I still feel like if it was anybody else, he still would have booted him. Because once he heard that Dan didn't do that, whatever on purpose, like he didn't know, it was basically set up and sabotage, he was just like, dang, like, I kind of feel bad. But I feel like had that been anybody else, he still would have just gotten rid of them. He still wouldn't have wanted to have anything to do with them. So we're seeing like him subconsciously like chase him. But y'all, Dan is fed up with his antics. Like, I think that Dan was already sick of him. I think that Dan was already tired of him. And I just feel like progressively we have been seeing him get more and more irritated with him. And I'm really upset that it's on hiatus right now because I would love to see what Dan says to him. Because the way he looked at him when he hopped on that boat, when he thought that Dan was the person that they pulled out of the water, and when he was like, "What are you doing here?" Like that look that Dan had in his eye, it was just so cold. And I'm like, oh, now the chase really, really finna start. Like I feel like we're already like kind of seeing like the bits and pieces of the chase arc, but now he's really gonna have to start like chasing him. And that's the crazy thing because like I said, right now, I don't think that he realizes that he's been chasing him, but now he's gonna have to actively realize that he is chasing him. And that is just gonna be so crazy. And then it's like I think too, because y'all know that he got offered that fight. And I'm really wondering, like, is he going to do the fight? Is he actually going to do the fight? Like, is he going to participate in it, even though like he knows that it's not a ranked match, but just to like keep himself relevant, keep himself out there, keep himself, like I still got it. But a part of me kind of wonders, like, is he going to actually do the fight, or is he going to stay with Dan and make sure that Dan gets better? Because he probably feels like, oh, if I leave him, he's just gonna fall. No, not probably. We know that if he leaves, he's just gonna fall all over himself and be a mess. Because as we saw after that doctor's appointment, and the doctor was like, make sure he doesn't drink, make sure he doesn't do this, make sure. And the first thing that we see him do when they get to the hotel is drink. Like, y'all, I'm not gonna lie, Dan has been upsetting me so bad this chapter, and like he would irritate me like sometimes like here and there, but ultimately like I love Dan, like I love him. But it's something about like the active self-sabotage that's like really, really getting me. But at the same time, like we're seeing like both sides of like this post. I guess we can call it a breakup. Can we call it a breakup? Like, chat, can we call it a breakup? Like, cause it was low key a breakup. Like, he packed up all his stuff and moved out of the house. That was low key a breakup. So I guess you can say that what we're seeing things like post breakup, but um Dan was just totally different, and I can understand it because he got his heart broken. Like, but at the same time, like, your granny is sick. Like, she's not totally out of the clear. Like, she's doing better, but she's not totally 100% out of the clear. And your granny is sick, and I understand that you're going through it. I understand that your heart is broken, but damn, come on, man. Like, you got to make sure that you're good for your grandma at the very least, at the bare minimum. So I think that because he made a promise to Dan's grandma to make sure that he was good, he was going to take care of him, all that stuff. I think that he's going to feel like he has an obligation to make sure that Dan is doing okay. Also, I know that she's going to go on hiatus, and I think, if I remember correctly, I think that she said something about being back in like July or something. But do y'all think that we're possibly going to get another side story, like chapter, episode? Like, I wouldn't mind it. Actually, no. No. I don't want to see a side story episode. Look, I love Potato and his song. I love him down. But now is not the time. Now is not the time. I cannot do a side story right now. I don't need a side story. Um, Maybe if it was placed at a different time, but after that last chapter, I don't need a side story right now. I changed my mind, actually. Let's not do a side story. Not at this point in time within the story. I need the actual story, no side story. Do y'all think, question, and y'all can answer these questions in the comments. I'm going to ask a couple of questions throughout the video, and leave your comments. I love talking with y'all. I love discussing things with y'all. Just let me know. But do y'all think that Jake is going to do the fight? Do y'all think Jake Young is going to do the fight? And if he does do the fight, like, how do you think that that's going to go for him? Do you think that his shoulder is still going to give him an issue? Like, of course, we see that he's gotten a lot better, and we obviously seen him do like physical labor and lifting and stuff. But do y'all think that he's still going to perform the way that he was before, like how he's known to? Like, if he were to fight, how do you think that he would do? And if you don't think that, on the other end of it, you think that he's going to stick around and help Dan, do you think that he's still going to be as gentle and caring as him? Do you think that he's going to blow up on him? Do you think that we're going to see like a consistent slope? Because as of right now, at least to me, I don't think that Jake Young is doing bad. Like, I know that a lot of people don't like him. I know a lot of people don't like him, and that's a whole other video for another day. But seriously speaking, like, how are we feeling about his character development? I personally think that his character development is positive, but it's also very much him. Like, it's not anything that's too overdone. It's not anything that's too dramatic. It's not anything of the sort. So I don't have any issues whatsoever with his development. I like where it's going. I like that we actually know his thoughts. I like that we're seeing a softer side of him, but it's a softer side of him that still makes sense. I'm just really, really, really nervous about what's to come and what's to happen. I do think that Dan is going to curve him for a little bit, because I'm not going to lie, besides a couple of spicy scenes, I feel like Dan has been doing a great job at avoiding him, because even though I'm a Jake Young fan, I love him down, love him, I'm not going to dismiss the fact that he hurt Dan's feelings. And even though, because a lot of people like to say, oh, he should have took the gift, but y'all, to be so fair, he did tell him that he let it be known that he didn't want anything expensive. Dan could have just put a bow on it. He could have just put a bow on it and said, happy birthday. Told him he didn't want anything expensive, and then thus caused, the whole blow up. I was, however, happy that the card came back up. I was very happy that that ended up coming back around and in conversation and everything because I was wondering about that for a long time. And like even when I discuss it with my friends, we always bring up that card. And I'm glad that that eventually came back up because I was really wanting to know like what it was that he said. And now it's even more of a mystery because he wrote something in the car and then he like scratched it off and it's like, what was he gonna say? Do y'all think that he was gonna profess his love to him? I think he was. Like, Dan was so deep in. I think that he was about to profess his love to him, low key. Well, y'all, that's all I got for today. I will be making more like actual in-depth Jinx videos, talking about different characters, all those different types of things, and I'll be talking about other BLs. And if you made it this far in the video, let me know in the comments what BL or BLs, because if you're like me, you read multiples at the same time. Let me know what BLs that y'all are reading right now. I will see you guys later. Bye.